Today we have some promising good news. Troy's estimates are a little bit lower now, mostly because of Europe. However, looking at the data from the data reporting countries is good, but we don't have a full picture just by looking at them. However, today we received new data from other countries. We have multiple countries where the expectations were exceeded by a little bit. That was Belgium and this is Netherlands. To understand what's going on, you just look at May and then you compare May's numbers with numbers from February and you can clearly see that May is better. Italy is doing well, but most importantly, France is doing all right too, which came in roughly within expectations, which is also important because if the expectations are missed for a big country like this, then that pushes us back to much lower expectations for the whole quarter. And with Sweden, it's so easy to make a mistake because the numbers are so huge currently. This looks more like the last month of the quarter instead of the second month of the quarter. There was a theory from the Tesla bears that in the last quarter, all of these small countries exhausted all of this pent-up demand from before, and therefore this quarter is not going to be as good in these countries. But looking at the data that is coming out today, yeah, that does not seem to be the case. It appears that the demand in these smaller countries is sustained and it continues. And the data that you see in these solid colors, the data is already complete. So we are only missing basically two giant important countries, which, you know, it's still a bit early to celebrate, but so far, France is looking promising. And as long as these countries are not doing horribly, then this quarter so far seems good, but we'll see very soon. What is clear though is the Tesla stock bears are not happy because they thought Tesla exhausted all of the demand in these smaller countries, and that certainly is not the case. So that's promising. Now let's go through the rest of Tesla stock news. Tesla is rumored to show a new Model 3 on Thursday, which would be today. That article is based on this Bloomberg story, but all it said here is that the first cars coming off the line Thursday are prototypes. It does not mean that Tesla will show it to everyone. Usually electric is pretty good, but on this one, I think they should have been maybe a little bit more careful with their wording, but usually they do a pretty good job. James thinks that the new Model 3 is going to have long wait times and higher prices. I definitely think there are quite a few people that are not buying the Model 3 just because they think that Tesla will be releasing a new Model 3 very soon, and if you can wait for a few more months, if at all possible, then why would you buy one right now? So I think James is probably generally right about this one. However, execution will be crucially important. Tesla has never had to coordinate a refresh of a high volume model before, and they have never had to coordinate it over 2 factories and 2 continents. The situation could be tense, but we will be fine, just like this car. And what's interesting is that the Model 3 refresh is actually ahead of schedule, at least within China. We don't know about Fremont, and the question is, what if Fremont is late? Or just on time, meaning it's not ahead of schedule? What is China going to do? One thing that Tesla can certainly do is discount existing inventory of the old Model 3, which is exactly what Tesla seems to be doing right now. The discounts have been increased to $3,000 in the US now. It is not abundantly clear if Tesla is doing that because the inventory is a bit high for Model 3, or is it because Tesla is trying to clear out the inventory for the next Model 3 version. The Model 3 inventory level in the US is a bit elevated, but let's see what it looks like tomorrow. The Model Y looks pretty good. And James is not expecting any sort of imminent announcement about the next version of a Model 3. And unless Tesla is planning to sell the new version at a higher price than the current version, I'm not expecting anything for now either, until the inventory is cleared to almost zero. Elon gave a speech in China. Here are a few clips.
Thank you for being here late at night. I would like to just very much congratulate you on the amazing work that you've done. It's been incredibly impressive how you have been able to overcome so many difficulties and so many challenges. And I just want to let you know, it's like, it warms my heart, you know. And I tell people in throughout the world, the cars we produce here are not just the most efficient production, but also the highest quality. I just feel like there's so much that gets accomplished. There's so much positive energy for getting things done that actually, I think, will be very important, not just for Tesla, but also for the world.
In China, Elon also met with the highest ranking official from Shanghai, and it seems that the meeting went well. ESG is getting called out from a mainstream media outlet. Tesla got added to an ESG index, but oil and tobacco firms scored higher. If we make this publicly known to everyone, I think things could start changing. This I view as a good start. More and more people are getting the latest update for FSD, and look at this one. A car stops. Then it moves forward for visibility. It sees a car coming, and then it keeps moving. Then it realizes there's another car coming, but it keeps moving, which is pretty confident and smooth. In California, two companies that make their own chips were spotted working together. It was pretty hard to keep a straight face saying that. Elon Musk is now tweeting again, so it appears that he is outside of China. He tweeted, Lil X just asked if there are police cats since there are police dogs. Overall, I think Elon's visit to China has been overwhelmingly positive, including for the relations of the US and China. Tesla has released a service bulletin for water ingress on Model Y's tailgate. If you have that sort of an issue, then you will probably be able to repair it pretty quickly and easily if you just request a service appointment. Lucid announced a $3 billion public offering of common stock to raise money. And how is the stock reacting to it? Exactly like it should. It's down over 16% in one single day. Tesla received very high ratings from the International Council on Clean Transportation. It is clearly number one, scoring 83 points. BYD scored 73 out of 100, and everyone else is just so far behind. There are three categories that really matter here, and Tesla got 100s in each and every one of those. Energy consumption, 100. BYD only 74. Charging speed, Tesla got 100. BYD only got 38. Driving range, Tesla got 100, BYD only got 73. Everything else I would say is not as important on that list. For example, take a look at this. ZEV sales share, meaning BYD still produces some hybrids. Okay, yeah, but I don't think that's really that bad for BYD. If they didn't have hybrids, would they be making money? Maybe not, probably not actually. So for them, it's not really a bad thing so far, for now. What would be more important to have here, perhaps, is just the total number of electric vehicles made. I think that would be more important, but this also gives us some sort of understanding of where each company is, and most companies are, yeah, these numbers look low, especially when we look at Japanese manufacturers. The only two categories where Tesla got a lower score would be ZEV class coverage, which I think is the number of models that a manufacturer has. Of course, Tesla has very few. That's why it has a low score, which for me as an investor means if Tesla can make so many sales with so few models, that is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Next, we got renewable energy. I think to score 100 here, you have to use only renewable energy for all of your manufacturing processes. And with time, and it may be a long time, Tesla will get there as well. Tesla just released its conflict minerals report. Doesn't seem like there's that much to see here, so I'll move on. On CNBC, an expert now says that Tesla is an AI play. That took a really long time for them to figure it out. Tesla stock had a pretty good week today, and especially a great month. And despite that, Tesla stock is still 50% off from its all-time high, which makes me really excited because I'm buying more. Elon's full interview with the Babylon Bee is now out exclusively on Twitter, and here's a little clip from the interview.
I think it's going to be good. So the subscriptions, and then there's a share of advertising revenue. We just really need to complete writing the software for figuring out like what ads were associated with what content, and then figure out like some reasonable revenue share. And from the date that I said we would compensate creators, we will backdate it to that and send people checks.
Once that actually starts, you will see a lot more content on Twitter, and I think the content quality will also improve, which is going to be very important for Twitter long term. In this video, I talk about Tesla starting to advertise. My name is Matt Post. Just like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Even though the situation between China and the US stands currently, Elon has done a great job navigating through all of this, seemingly actually making the relations better. Good job, Elon.